Okay guys, another quick video for you, just having a look at my latest purchase. So here is an HPI Savage X 4.6 nitro monster truck. Now I bought this off eBay for what I think is pretty good. I got a pretty good deal for it, a pretty good price. I've wanted one of these for a long time. When they first came out, it was what, the Savage 21 I think, and then the Savage 25 back in like the late 1990s. Really wanted one of those, but it just never happened, so this was a bit of a unicorn for me. The story goes, I've got into a lot of racing recently, sold all my bashers. My last basher was an Armour Creighton V46S, I think that was. Literally sold that week before last, and that one kind of hurt a little bit. That was my last basher, and it was going. I thought, no, I need a basher back in my life, but it wasn't that I'd fallen out of love with the Creighton, I'd fallen out of love with brushless, I think. So I really started to get back into the whole nitro thing. I've got an HPI Firestorm nitro. I've got a HPI RS4 Evo on-road nitro. So this was really the next logical step. So here we are. First thing, I broke my kind of golden rule of buying nitros on eBay. I've been stung a couple of times in the past and it can really be hit and miss. The trouble I find with nitros on eBay is often the sellers aren't 100% accurate in their description. Also, let's put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's new to the hobby. There is a common misconception that nitro's got an engine in it, it's a lot faster than electric. It's not really the case nowadays, of course, with brushless. So they always go straight in the deep end with nitro, and it's not as easy as that. There's a couple of things you need to know about nitro to get them to run correctly. So a lot of newbies get into nitro, they don't really know what they're doing, and they go either one of two ways. They run them too lean, blow up the engine, or they get frustrated with it, they can't get it to run correctly, and they just stick it on eBay relatively cheap to get a bit of money back. I saw this on eBay for, I think it was up for £250 delivered, or make an offer. So I made an offer, a really cheeky offer really, of £200 delivered. Of course that was rejected, but he came back with a counter offer of £220 delivered. So I thought, actually, yeah, that's a bit of a bargain. Now, in the description, the engine's got loads of compression, he's run it recently, you know, he's saying all the right kind of things. Now, looking at the photos, I was a little bit wary of if I should go for it or not. I'll put the photos up now as I'm talking, but he said in the description that it needs a good clean, and I could see it was covered in mud. He'd last used it about 4 months ago. Basically ran it, bashed it, and then threw it in his loft as is. So it was covered in dried on mud, clay. It was really pretty nasty. I took a gamble for the money. I didn't think I could complain. So the car turned up as expected. It was covered in crap. So the first thing I did before I even made this video was completely clean it from top to bottom, and you also see the shell's a little bit different as well. So I wanted to know what I was working with before I kind of got too into it. When it comes to buying used nitros, before I spend any money on it, I'm just going to fire it up and see if it runs. As long as it's got a new glow plug, a fully charged glow starter, fresh fuel, and a clean filter, if you like, there's no reason why it shouldn't run. So that's the first thing I did, and she fired up straight away, absolutely no problem. So I'm really happy with that. I kind of see nitros off eBay as a bit of a project. I convinced myself they're gonna need money spending on them to get them right and running well. So as long as you're going with that mindset, I don't think you can go really too wrong. I did a bit of research beforehand. This is the X 4.6 with the F 4.6 nitro engine. So this engine you can still buy in the UK brand new. However, they're not cheap, they're 150 quid. Now considering I paid 220 for the truck, that's quite an outlay if the engine doesn't run. So that's the first thing I always do. Before I spend any money on it, just make sure she runs, and she did. So this is just a very quick video to talk to you about what I received, the good bits, because it does have quite a few good bits, and the bad bits, which it has a couple. I wouldn't say they're not horrific, but and I'll just tell you my plans for it for the future. There's a couple of things I need to do to it before I can really run it, so we'll have a look at that. Let's start with the bad bits. They're not massively bad, but they're kind of bad. So firstly, let's start with the shell, because there's a couple of things I want to say with the shell. Here's a photo of how it was when I received it. As you can see, the shell was covered in like what we call sticker bomb kind of thing. There's nothing in the description about what that was, if it put loads of stickers on, if it was a wrap or what. And I'm a very, what I call OEM guy or OEM plus guy. I'm going to return this to as far out of stock as possible, because I like to receive it how it would have been received from HPI originally. So, car arrives, I take the shell, and it was actually a wrap. I had a really good wrap actually. I'm not sure if the guy was professional at wrapping cars or what, but it was a really good, solid, high quality wrap. I had to hit this thing with a hairdryer for a good 40 minutes to really get the glue underneath tacky enough to peel that wrap off easily. I wasn't sure what was going to be underneath, but I knew I didn't like the wrap, didn't like the sticker bomb effect. So I thought, whatever's underneath, it's got to be better than that, it's going to go. So, heat the thing up, tore the wrap off, and this is what we're left with. Actually a really decent looking shell. I removed the wrap, and this is exactly what I was left with. The only downside is that he removed the stickers, the standard stickers. So it would usually say like Savage X 4.6 on the side, HPI Racing, HPI Racing. It would have some stock stickers. This is all printed on the inside. So I don't actually have those. HPI don't sell the sticker sheets separately. Like I said, I'm very much an OEM guy, so I would like to have the original stickers back on it. As much as I love the design, and I really do, it still looks a little bit plain, if you know what I mean, without all the HPI branding on it. Let's get into the negative parts of this before we go to, and we'll finish on a high with like the positives. So here she is in all her glory. Like we said, negative parts. Firstly, when I first received the truck, there was a lot of residue at the bottom of both front shocks. I'm assuming that was shock oil. I couldn't really have been anything else. And as you can see, there's very little dampening, if you like. You see that it's got that bounce to it at the front. I'm pretty sure both these shocks are completely empty and I've dumped all the oil. So not a big deal. I'm just going to rebuild them. I would put some fresh oil in it anyway, like I'll do with the diffs. So that's not really anything out of my way, if you like. Moving on to the next slight minor thing, if you like, the servos, the radio gear. So if I just remove the air filter, very simple to get into the radio tray, turn this little catch here and just pull the tray up and out. Now what I've already done here is I've installed my Spectrum receiver, so I can bind this up to my DX5 Rugged, is what I use for my bashers and my boats. So I've already done that, I've already bound it. I'm running a Lifey 6.6 volt receiver pack, but as you can see, the servo is not a standard HPI servo. This is Ace RC 1903. A little bit of research suggests that that's some sort of Thunder Tiger servo, but it's really poor quality. It's so slow, it's got no torque to it, so that will be getting changed out straight away. Likewise, the steering servo, which you can't actually see, is completely unbranded. In fact, it's just got a bit of Chinese writing on the top where the sticker would be. It's got no torque to it at all, so they'll be going straight away. Looking at the wiring, actually, this is the wiring for the throttle servo. Slightly concerning. That's just a runaway, and if you can see, there's covered in electrical tape. That is a runaway waiting to happen. So before I even drive this thing, I'm going to be putting new servos in there. I've got a couple of Power HDs that I've just bought, 120 kilo, which is going to go for throttle and brake, and a 25 kilo, which is going to go in for steering. They're going to be perfect for this, both waterproof. I don't intend to really run it in the wet, but it's just easier to clean then. If we've got waterproof servos, they don't need to be removed before cleaning. A couple of other very minor points. We're missing a couple of very small parts. So there's a blanking plate here on the side of the radio box. That is missing. I'm also missing, I don't know if you can see, missing a screw from here. No big deal. I've probably got one of those hanging around in my parts box. Let's look at the positives. Now, the seller in the description didn't mention anything about upgrades or spare parts or anything. So I was really happy when this turned up in a massive box. Open it up, this is there, but then I've also got a clear body shell, brand new body shell with decals, all sealed, genuine HPI body shell, a second pair of wheels and tyres. So as you can see, one of the positives, I've got Proline trenchers almost brand new actually. The tread is fantastic, barely used, all round. But then he's also included the original wheels and tyres, which again had hardly any wear on them as well. These wheels and tyres alone are about £80. I also got 2 radios. As part of the spares box, I noticed there was a full set of shocks, which I thought was strange. So they look like the OEM shocks, the plastic body shocks, so I thought, well, what's on here? And as you can see, we've actually got the HPI genuine upgraded aluminium bodied big bore shocks with the titanium coated shock shafts. As I said, the aluminium bodies. Again, these, you can still buy these in the UK. It's £140 for the set. So we've got £80 for the wheels and tyres, 140 quid for the shocks. I only paid £220 for the whole thing. So we're absolutely quids in. So that's a real big bonus. We've also got the upgraded wheelie bar. That was added after. They didn't come with that at the time. Looking underneath here then, it's in excellent condition. And we've got an RPM skid plate. Cannot go wrong with RPM. It came with 2 glow starters. It came with 6 spare brand new glow plugs. I've got 2 Rotostart 2 sets, brand new bottles of after run oil, air filter oil, you name it, I've got it. I have fired it up. She runs, which is great. I haven't driven it yet in anger. I just want to get those servos sorted first. And a couple of things I'm going to do to it, which I would do to any nitro I buy second hand. This fuel tube looks pretty new. I'm going to swap it out anyway, again, just for peace of mind. Again, the glow plug looks new and it ignites really well, glows really nicely and bright. I'll probably, just for matter of course, since he sent me so many new ones, I'll probably replace that. Air filter, without a doubt, it's in excellent condition. Sometimes old nitros, the inner filament can actually break apart and get sucked into the engine. So I'll just give it a good clean and a re-oil before I run it in anger, and that'll be that sorted. Shocks, like we said, they need a rebuild because the front ones are empty and there's no spring to them at all. We can see the rear, it doesn't quite bounce as much as the front does. So that will definitely be getting sorted. I've got no way of checking the how the 2-speed runs, so that will just have to happen when I run it. And I'll probably take the engine out and just check the clutch as well, just the shoes for any wear. They're not too expensive to change out. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm really pleased. Like I said, I'm usually a little bit skeptical and a bit cautious about buying cheap nitros off eBay, but I think I've hit a bit of a jackpot with this, particularly with all the spares that I've received, the upgrades it's got, how well looked after it is. It looks absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really happy with it. And hopefully the next video you see will be me running it. Probably take it to my local track where I race. We've got a basher track there with some pretty extreme jumps actually, so it would be pretty perfect for this. So that's probably going to be the next video on it. So yeah, if you're still watching, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all really soon. Thank you.